Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to Talking Shit with your boy Stan and Sophisticated Jerk. You know, the rest of the crew gonna be in here later. So how's everything doing, Stan? You doing all
You
right
know
out
what?
here?
This is a testament. Only us light skins will show up on time.
Like light skinned people always be on time. These professional Negroes out here, man.
You know what I'm saying?
But nah, just to kind of jump into it, we got some good topics today. So the first one, we're gonna break down the one lady. I know the story been circulating around YouTube and even in the news where I think she was parked at the casino and the two kids died. She was homeless and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a sad story and stuff like that. So I did want to deep dive in it because I seen, everybody had their different takes on it, and everybody was kind of, I say, having putting their perspectives on it, has some good perspectives around the whole clip. So
Mhm.
before we jump into it, man, you got something to say on it, or you want to watch the clips first and then?
Let's watch the clip first.
All right. Let me pull it up real quick. All right. So here's the first one.
A mother of two children who likely died from hypothermia in a car is speaking out tonight. Her 9-year-old son and 2-year-old daughter were found unresponsive after spending the night in the Hollywood casino parking garage.
Over the past 24 hours, questions have been raised about why the family didn't get help. During a press conference today, Mayor Mike Duggan revealed that family called the city in November, but nothing was done.
For whatever reason, this wasn't deemed an emergency that caused an outreach worker to visit the family.
Tonight, I sat down with that mother. She is 29-year-old Tatiana Williams. She told me she and her 4 children had been living in their van for the past 3 months.
They said it was carbon monoxide. Or I don't know what it is. There's so many stories going around. I haven't even got the right story for my own kids. But one thing I do know is they could never be cold in their car because I keep gas in their car. I do what I got to do to keep them kids with heat. So it's not hypothermia. My kids could have never froze to death. But I called everybody. I called out of state. I called different cities. I called Detroit. I got on the cam list. I've been on the cam list for a long time. Nobody. Every time I call, they say it's no shelter, no bed. I thought I was doing the right thing. I tried to keep them warm at night. That's it. I was just trying to keep them warm. Nobody helped me. It took me to lose 2 of my kids to get this help. I don't feel good about it.
If you ever find yourself without shelter, there are resources for you. Just scan the QR code on your screen.
I'll go ahead and stop that one right there.
Mm.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Man, you already know my past. Like my family was homeless, so I know how tough this stuff is personally, and that's why I got into the field of work I'm in now because of it. It's sad. It's a sad place to be because nobody wants to be homeless. Um, it's for her, it was her 4 kids, her mother, 2 siblings. I mean, that's 8 people. Um, there's never enough services for people that need it, but amazingly, when we had migrants, there was all this help for them. But when it comes to U.S. citizens, our citizens, they can't even get help, or they shame to ask for help, or you just can't bother to help them, and that's the sad part. And for her, she lost 2 kids. Like there's no coming back from that. Her firstborn son, and then the youngest one that's 2 years old. There's there's nothing I can say. Like, yo, like it's, when you look at what's going on in Detroit or even in Michigan, like there's not enough services, there's not enough housing. I mean, that's why I stand on what I stand. You and I, we exchange stories, and I send you a lot of stories like, yo, there's a lot of people sleeping in cars. But then we seen all the stuff on TikTok. It's like, if he not buying you a Birkin, I mean, a Birkin, like, man, a Birkin bag, how much a Birkin costs? You can set somebody's life up for a whole year. And folks out here acting like it's all good. And it's not.
Yeah, it's that's a good point, man. Because yeah, when people, we give a lot of pushback because we're like, look, work together, pay down debt, get ahead, and we get a lot of pushback for that. But we're seeing this stuff play out where it's just like, it's like if you had a help, what I'm saying, you'll have a different circumstance, and it
Mm-hmm.
is sad. I like the point you made as far as like because I used to be one of them people. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was pretty tough on.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
What's good, Wally?
What's
But
going on, guys?
I was pretty tough on just people reaching out to help. I'll be like, man, you gotta get it on your own type of thing. Until somebody was telling me, and I that's one thing I could give props to Trump and them where they're cutting foreign aid. And it's like, man, we're gonna spend the money back home. I agree with them because it's just like, how we gonna turn down our own citizens? And you'll see a package go overseas and it'll be like $700 billion. And we be like tough on each other, but money be flying out the door. So I do think, man, when somebody broke that down to me, they'd be like, hey man, we'll send 800 billion overseas to assist another country. I'd be like, why are you so tough on our own citizen? I was like, damn, that's a great point. After that, I was like, hey, like you said, damn that. Like before I be tough on us receiving some shit out, we need to focus on that stuff first. So I give them props for like, kind of cutting that shit off and trying to spend the money on us. But yeah, no, all around, man. It's just sad, man. I do appreciate you sharing those stories, man. Because and even Conrad, because he was breaking it down. He was homeless on M3's live and stuff. So it's just like when people speak about this stuff, it does bring a whole nother perspective to this. Yeah, because I know Detroit got to be freezing. Just even Virginia. We've been getting hit with the cold spell, so it's just like. I know they got a whole totally different type of cold out there. So, yeah, they definitely got
it's like New York is cold. Like I tell people when they come to New York, you got to put on long johns, and there's a reason why you put on Timberlands. It's not a fashion statement because that black ice you see your whole life slipping away as you slide it into traffic.
Yeah, no,
So
I mean, they're like, but yeah, because they flat on that water up there too. So yeah, that.
Oh yeah,
When they get those snowstorms, some people in that region, man, because my wife up from like Minnesota area, and they be showing me pictures. They be like, "Oh, we just got hit with a snowstorm. Snow be up to the roof and shit." So yeah, when you talk about those type of conditions, it's like, man, that's a whole nother level of cold, man. Look at Wally down there in Florida, stunting on us and shit.
All shaved out. Why is it hot?
Northern Florida, I think you have some snow somewhere, probably.
Which I get like a millimeter of snow down there. Stop playing, Wally.
Yeah, probably the ones up there north. Yeah, they probably get those little increments.
Yeah, but we're just talking about that Detroit mother where the two kids passed away. When she left them, was she actually in the casino and left a car?
No. Well, here's the thing about the casino, and here's the part people have got to understand, right? Like when you park your car, you're gonna park your car what's safe. It makes sense to go to a casino. Like again, that type of cold, right? That's no joke. Because everybody gone to Michigan, I visited and I seen what they call "quote unquote" the lakes, where it freezes like a full on wave. That's cold.
Damn.
And that was just May. I was there in May. It was that cold. Like nothing to frost. everything was still frozen. People trying to ice skate. I'm like, oh no, right?
You ain't go ice fishing. What's that shit they be doing? They put like a tin on the ice and have a heater out there. Talk about some ice fishing.
No, thank you. I need my water filtered. I've been civilized. But like, like you go to like a structure like that because it's safe. And also normally the exit, right? If you park there, the bathroom is right by the exit. So you have to go to the bathroom, you just go and then come back.
Oh, okay.
Right? That it makes sense, right? Why somebody will go to Walmart, because we know that there'll be security at Walmart. That's why people go to certain parking lots, because it's safe.
Oh, okay. I got you.
And so if she's going inside, you go inside and get some, because what else they have in casinos? They have food. Get some hot food and then go back to your car. It makes sense for them to do that. There's nothing wrong. Like, you will be surprised some people are in parking lots right now. And that's the scary part, where people, like, when you see stuff on TikTok and YouTube talking about van life and they glamorizing it, I'm like, man, if y'all don't go pay some rent, I ain't trying to be caught up in no 4x4
Yeah, they do
and
be
brag about
making.
on, you know what I'm saying? Brag about, come on, beat. I'm like, no.
But I
But
do got one more clip for the story. But before we deep dive even further, let
yeah,
me pull this one up because it's the one where I
the
think the
father,
kid's father and stuff. I do.
Wally, take
I'm
a deep breath.
All right, here we go.
Our other big story of the night, a father speaking to us tonight after learning 2 of his kids died from exposure to the cold in a casino parking lot.
Y'all let me know if y'all want to stop in between and stuff.
Yesterday, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham spoke to the mother of those 2 kids about the tragic situation.
Yesterday, I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving. And I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please.
Well, tonight, Darren is getting the father's side of this story, hearing about the moment he learned 2 of his children had passed away.
Darnell Curry Sr. wiped away tears while talking with me about his children, Darnell Jr. and Amelia, and the distressing phone call he says he took from their mother, Tatiana Williams, on Monday.
I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? They gone. I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't.
According to Detroit police, 9-year-old Darnell Jr. and 2-year-old Amelia died while sleeping in a vehicle at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking garage. Investigators say the cause appears to be hypothermia, a tragedy stemming from homelessness.
I tried. I asked for help. I asked everybody, even people out of state. But I tried. I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. People just didn't like too many kids at their house.
I spoke with the children's mother Tuesday evening. She told me she's been living in her vehicle for 3 months, along with her 4 kids, her mother, and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
That's what I saw, about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never.
I'm gonna pause right there. Do you think that's acceptable?
Hell no.
His side?
Hell no.
Yeah, that's
Hell no.
because when he was trying to explain it, me and my wife was talking about it, and I'm like, even if I might be irritated with somebody, they give me that call like, hey man, I need you to pick up the kids and stuff. I need to drop them off. I don't really need that much of an explanation. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, man, look, okay, bring them by and stuff. and for him to like, he didn't know that they was homeless for 3 months, whatever. It's just like, man, what's the frequency you're getting your kids, man?
None at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
None at all.
To be that distant from them.
Yeah, because he said he FaceTime, right? So 3 months you knew and you never went to see them. In my understanding, is like they're 30 minutes away from each other. Allegedly, he was staying with his girlfriend. So he's a hobosexual.
Oh, so he probably couldn't even try to pull him in because of the conflict it might have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's some shitty stuff if that's the case. But that's what happens a lot with a lot of dudes. It's almost like they will detach from their kids, man, when they get in like new relationships and stuff. And that's one thing I can't stand. But yeah, when he was like talking and stuff, it was just like, dude, you don't check on your kids, man. You can't let them stay by the house or something like that. They said 3 of them was his.
3 of them was his. One is from another relationship that she had. And then you look at her mother was there, and then 2 siblings, teenage siblings. The sad part, right? It's like, man, when grandma don't have a place to stay. Because if grandma had a place, right? And I know ladies gonna be mad when I say this, but you know what? It wasn't for grandpa to buy a house. Also had a pension, because sometimes the men are sometimes usually the first one to go. Grandma has the house, has a pension coming in. We all had a place to stay. And when you overlook at these things, I think it's gonna get worse for single moms, because when you look at the stories, there's other single moms in Detroit, Michigan that's going through this that don't have a place to stay. And it's cold. Because up there, they're looking at winter. Winter lasts 9 to 10 months out the whole year. This is an ongoing thing. And so, you know, when SJ and N3 tell y'all to go 50-50 and y'all suck y'all teeth and roll your eyes, please read the world. It's beyond the room now. It's the whole world. Everything is changing.
But I think another.
This
Go
doesn't
ahead,
work.
Wally and M3, if y'all want to jump in.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, like this story is definitely sad, man. To have, you know, I have like a lot of thoughts, like just a lot of different scenarios. But there's definitely no excuse, man, for like the father's part. Obviously, like he ain't shit, and he wasn't really like too concerned like for his kids and their well being. At the same time, it's like, okay, how did both parties, like how did the mother even get to a point where she became homeless? So I think about those like kind of things is that, okay, you guys were together, you guys made kids together, and this is why like a lot of people are not really deserving to really have children. Like it's really important, like for like both parties to really like just get this stuff together, and it is important for both parties to work. Everybody keeps talking on this internet about this, like men need to be the sole providers and get a lot of money so you can take care of a woman. Well, let's say you do have a lot of money. Let's say you reach those accomplishments. But you have to understand that unless if like you are the CEO, you own something, and it's like you're making good residual income, you're still under the mercy of the person who's supplying your paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get fired or laid off at any given time, and you could lose that so-called high value type of privilege. Or I forgot what you would call it, like for people like who have like a lot of resources. So the jobs like and money comes and goes, but if you were only training your wife right to like really not do anything, you know what I mean, besides like just staying at home and take care of whatever, that you already set her up. Sorry, set her up for failure. Because once you lose that job, now how will she be able to be like any use for you? You still going to have to try to find like work or whatever. And if both of you guys end up being homeless, then unfortunately, like you end up like how they turn out. So it's a sad thing, man, for to see like like families they go down like that.
Yeah, definitely. Great points, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wally. Is he? Oh, okay. I thought you was frozen for a second. Wally look irritated, boy. Oh,
That's why I told him
you're
to
on mute,
breathe.
Wally.
Breathe, Wally, breathe.
Yeah. This is really much of a mixed bag. Because I don't know what to really get off of this. It's like yeah, don't get me wrong, the kids dying because of this whole weather is like, that's just messed up. But you're trying to tell me yourself was homeless, your mama's homeless, anybody you know that connected to you is neither homeless or this couldn't do it. And then it's like, well, now you're saying side A saying you contact, side B saying you didn't contact. And once again, when usually this yay and nay stuff goes down, we don't ever see phone texts to clarify nothing. This is just honest. Look, I just say this is an L for both people. Honestly, this is an L for both people. This is just horrible altogether. This is horrible. I can't. There's really not neither one side I can really say is just one better or the other over the other. It's just really both.
Here's the thing that people gotta understand about homelessness. There's not enough beds to cover it. That's one, right? Two, you got to look at, this is why people got to read. We got to go back to reading newspapers and see what's going on. Not us, because we're good at reading, but for everybody else listening. When I say like read the world, right? When you look at like how much stuff costs, right? And if people are not able to meet that cost, that's one, right? Two, we don't have projects like we used to have. That's gone, right? We went for Section 8 vouchers. People not taking Section 8 vouchers, right? And there's a cap on Section 8 vouchers. So if your salary can't pay for market rate rent and your Section 8 vouchers cap, that can't compete with market rate rent, and you can lose your voucher in a month or two, like you're gonna go to hotels, right? And then you look at some of the hotels or slum hotels don't want you to have a lot of people in there. And so you fall into this cycle that's making you poorer and poorer, but you're trying to survive. And the kids got to go to school, and you got to go to work. And so, and then also, if you can't sleep over, like for us, right? If we were all renting in our lease, you can't have so many people staying at your unit. It's not like you could go ahead and house a group of people staying at your house. Probably for a weekend, you get away with it. But we know landlords not having it, or now these corporate landlords not having it. So where can people really go? We can't help anybody in our families if we have HOA and landlords, right? And corporate landlords. They can't go anywhere because it's too many people. You get lost in the sauce because, and then the homeless centers themselves is full, and it takes. And also, there's a time limit in the beds. You can't stay there forever. Um, you only have like some people only 3 months. Some programs 3 months. Some programs only a year. It's a lot longer to get people to where they need to get to so they could be housed. So I understand like everybody frustrated, but it's something a lot bigger that none of us can control.
I get you with that, man. I understand, man. It's nuanced, but I do like what Wally was getting at, where it's like, man, both of them are fucked up, and here's why, man. And this is why I always give like a lot of respect. People always like try to shame people that don't have kids, and I'm always an advocate. I'm like, hey, man, if people fall back and they're just like, I'm not ready, and they take that time, don't sit there and try to shame them for not having any kids, man. I think that's the good thing to do. And it's just in a case, because I understand, like, one, you might have your first kid when you're young and you're struggling. But it's like, man, I get irritated with people because it's just like, man, you don't have to, because a lot of times people will blame it on like generational type stuff, but it's just like, man, you should feel that impact on that first kid that you have and be like, dang, okay, we're struggling. Man, unless I get like promoted, I go to school and I elevate, I'm not gonna have any more, and that's why it just kind of irritates me with these stories that people just keep on going down that path, and they don't understand the like responsibility that comes with having a kid, man. You ain't supposed to be just spitting them out because you can, you have to, as a parent, there goes a responsibility to make sure you're taking care of them financially. I'm not saying you gotta be rich, but
Yeah.
if you're struggling with one, like that's a prime indicator, and you're making just a little bit of above minimum wage, man. Like, man, you need to stop. Get on some birth control, men. Put them condoms on. Stop doing this shit, because each kid ain't gonna. It's like in people's head, man. They think it's gonna bring more time and more money or something, but it's the adverse of that. So yeah, that's the part where it just irritates me, because a lot of them, they be like, yeah, I got like 4 kids, multiple people and stuff. So it's like, man, when y'all gonna slow the hell up?
You know what's crazy about this? This is not the only father that let down the family. Like, where is her father? And where are the fathers of her teenage siblings? Because mind you, she's 29. So her own mother was popping out kids when she was also a teenager. So
Yeah.
where are those fathers, right? Because it's like, yo, like, where are the men in this family?
Outcasted.
What's that again, Wally? I couldn't hear you.
I said possibly outcasted.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, for the sake for single moms in the future, man, this gonna be it's bad. Like, it's bad. Like, I know we're gonna get the pushback. Like, how about him? Like, yeah, for guys. Now, for this guy, right? I said I was on another podcast. I'm like his girlfriend should be arrested too, because she knew he had kids. He took down his page. This man was going on vacation. They was like living the life, and she knew he had children.
Yeah, but Stan, that the harsh reality is that like that's not her responsibility.
Did she
And
stop him? But did she stop him from seeing his kids? Did she have some play in it? Because
No,
guess
because he
what?
a grown man. At the end of the day, man, like if some female ever told me I could see my kid and they can't, man, I'm leaving her so fast, like she'll be
right.
thrown out the spot. Like, so you got to put it on him, man.
But you know what? Only reason I'm putting it on her is for everybody else to get it. You know that man have children. You have some play in it. You need to encourage that man to go ahead and take care of his kids. This whole thing, it's like you're now involved. This man, his daughter is gone. You have a 9-year-old that's gone, a 2-year-old's gone. You willingly took in the man that had a whole family into your household. And it's like you guys living life like this man is free from responsibilities. I think at some point we have to look at it and like, yo, you get yourself involved with men like this, it's not going to be good for you either.
Well,
No,
I have to agree with that notion as
go
well.
ahead, Wally.
Because the thing is, I mean, look, we can look at it both sides, but I think honestly, if the balance side to this was looking at it from all ends, I mean, yeah, you do add her as a pre-caveat to the whole mess, because at the end of the day, like all of y'all females would like to sit here and say y'all team women, right? Y'all for all women, but yet in this condition, you know what this dude had. You know this dude had another girl with some kids on the side. You wouldn't want that to happen to you, wouldn't you?
I get what you guys are saying, and I wholeheartedly agree in some cases, but the reality is that like, look, people are selfish. No one's gonna really care if it's not tied into them, and the way how women biologically like think and function, you could even have adopted kids, or you could have step kids. But the moment you have kids of your own, you're going to disregard those kids that you first fell in love with, because for whatever reason, when it becomes your seed, you're going to put that extra love and extra care because you created that. And that woman, that whoever that he was with or whatever, I'm for sure she didn't even give a hoot. You know, she knew where he was at. So I don't know how to turn this off on my
Nah, you
Mac,
good.
right? Yeah, but she knew where he was at. She knew the kids was out there, but people are just cold. You know what I mean? I would say women are a little bit more colder, but when it comes to children that's not their own, but she's like, hey man, like, well, that's something like you have to
See,
deal with.
I think we're trying to put it on somebody that smoke shouldn't be on. Because it's just like, man, everybody ain't gonna operate off of morality, man. That's for the own parents to be like, you know what? I got kids, and anytime like they want access to me, I'm gonna have them over. If that's a problem, you need to dip, you know,
But they
because
can't
it
imagine
is a lot.
you staying in their girlfriend's house, and that's like something like for
But he
all
don't have to
like.
stay there, man. It's not like she held him hostage.
But
You know
here's
what
the
I'm
thing:
saying?
for all men that have children, why aren't you? And this, like, I'm talking to them, like, why aren't you having your own apartment? At least
Nah,
a small
facts. Yeah.
apartment, just in case. Why don't you think about this? Because you're willing to be a stepfather and pouring resources to kids that's not your own for coochie that's at home, but you got kids out here in the world that just passed away because your ass didn't want to sit down and take responsibility and get them out the snow. Because again, Michigan snow is 10 months out the year. So it's been cold 3 months ago. That snow doesn't go anywhere. So I still got to put the onus on women who take in men who have children.
Man, we
And
can't, man. We can't
I'm
do
taking,
that.
you know what?
Look,
We have that stuff called second degree in
Nah,
doing
because man, we trying to
divorce, right?
bypass. No, man, he a grown
No,
ass man. We can't sit here and be like leadership and dude ain't gonna
if we
sit
talk
there.
about
He gonna let a
leadership,
woman
right?
dictate his terms, man.
No, we talk about leadership, right? Because if it was the other side, right? Him as a man, he would have took in the woman, kids. If like the father was like, "Hey, I'm homeless," he would have took in the kids, even that's not his kids, because that's his girl.
But I'm saying we don't
That's
even
your
know if
man.
that's the case. That's what I'm saying. You try to put a jacket on her, we don't
Three
even know if that's the
months.
case.
3 months, we got to put some fear of God in people. People ain't got they
Okay.
got enough sense to take down. Oh, I got you empty. They got enough
Yeah.
sense to know that they messed up, that they took down their social media and people looking for them.
Well, because they don't want
But
that
they had
that
enough sense.
backlash.
That's
But I'm saying like, because I know some people they don't want to get involved in people's like stuff with their wives and stuff. So he might not be telling all the details. So she probably might not want to get involved because you know that is not really her lane and stuff. So that's man, it's got to fall. The onus is on him, man.
I was just going to say that, just like in a hypothetical sense, right? Because some people will lie. Some people may not know, right, that the person have kids, and you'll be look. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. Like I've heard enough stories as it was, right, to like know that people do be hiding stuff. But let's just say hypothetically, the woman did not know, because I want to just take her out of the equation. You know, the girlfriend. The guy is nothing more than just a useless sperm donor, because he was only looking out for himself. The overall picture out of the couple, right, where the mother was homeless with her children, and out of that, the dad was only looking out for what was best for him. That's why he chose to be a homosexual, because obviously we don't know if he even have a job. So it's either okay, I want to be homeless.
He had no job. He had no job.
No. It's either he's going to be homeless with his family, or he's going to look out for himself and shelter up. And that's what he really thought of. He like, look, they'll be taken care of, but he needed to find a place of his own comfort. That's the way how I'm looking at this situation, which I don't feel sorry for neither one of those parties. I just feel sorry for the siblings that have to deal with this emotional trauma and losing their brother, because parents in the hood or whatever, or wherever they came from, are making poor decisions.
Look, she paid for them retwists. That's all I gotta say.
Diabolical.
No,
I don't think
but
so. She
Stan,
got paid for that.
I have
but
for them.
they
But
might
go
have hooked her up. But the reason why I say, man, like I got to give a little bit of smoke to the guys, man, because like I was telling y'all a couple weeks ago, it's like, man, I personally seen a lot of dudes. Like I said, it's like when they get into a new relationship, man, they cool with just like leaving those kids behind and stuff, man. And I think this is what kind of played out, man, where he jumped into that relationship and they were like, okay, I'll see him occasionally and check up on him. Cause even when he was like talking about the FaceTime and stuff, like, I would have a relationship, man. Are y'all straight? Like, you come stay with me. So that's what I'm saying, man. Something just ain't clicking.
Yeah, you know what's also not clicking? This fool went ahead, not seeing the kids, went ahead to do a GoFundMe.
Damn. Yeah.
So I'm glad that people went ahead and shut that down. Because like, yo, you don't get to do a GoFundMe. That's like evil as hell. 3 months. You have a 2-year-old. Like, she haven't seen you in 3 months. The son that's named after you, 9 years old, haven't seen you in 3 months. And
Yeah, because I just seen too many dads that care, man. Even if they had like not in a relationship with the female, where they checking up on them kids. They trying to get the custody arrangements. They fighting for their life to go and see them kids, even if it's like depleting they like life savings and stuff. And he was just like, yeah,
like, you got fools like this that got a sponsorship, that got him a gym membership to keep his body tight, got his twists redone, and got him new clothes so she could floss him around like a pet dog.
Yeah. But we'll go ahead and start closing this.
Pathetic. No, we don't have
Yeah.
to go. Because look at Wally. Wally about to say something. Come on, Wally.
Want to cuss them out. Shout out to Wally.
Come on, Wally.
I'm just gonna let it be what it is. This is just very sad. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like, a part of me do like really sit there and just think to myself, did it ever just came to your mind? I don't know. Surrender my kids to the government because I know I can't take care of them. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, did it ever just thought like just came in there and be like, I can either A, risk my kid's life, or B, try to make them survive?
Okay, can I answer that one?
That's a good point.
Okay, so it's not that easy.
It's never that easy.
It's full, right? There's something called kinship care, where they will pay you if you're a family member to take care of a child. So they do have that. Depends on your state and county. They do have that. But what happened is sometimes kids get lost in the system, so that they might get some new mental health, whatever, and because it's not easy for the kid. Because all of a sudden you getting thrown in the family that you haven't seen before, don't know. This is what I wish would happen, right? I wish that sometimes the agencies would be faster. Somebody is about to lose their apartment. Don't make them go through hoops that takes up to 2 months to get the money. Get the money in right away and put a social worker in within 3 days. Like, why are people being homeless? And why not go ahead and just pay for their house that? Look at their budget, modify it, get them on Section 8, work with the landlords. I wish they start doing things like that works, because it does not make sense to constantly make people start at ground zero. Because this is what happens a lot of times what people don't know. When you're in ground zero, you're in survival mode. Guess what also happens? Your credit crashed. And because you got bad credit and you applied for housing, now you got bad credit, you can't get into the housing. Motherfucker, they're homeless. What do you care about a credit score for? They need to be housed first. And then they could pay their credit off. But like, it's a messed up system.
But no, I definitely agree. Like, the system probably need improvements. But yeah, because I was thinking what Wally was asking. That was one of my things. Like, man, can you? Yeah, sometimes I think people's egos won't allow them to like.
I mean,
let
I want to
somebody
say
else,
it's an ego,
like
but
relatives
it's
too.
It's full. Like, when I say it's full, when I worked with an agency who were working with kids, the scariest thing I saw, this trend was adoptive parents because the kids were going through a teenage phase, and they like, here, deal with them. We don't want them anymore. And it's like, yo, these are not dogs. These are children. And you got to understand, like, foster care and foster homes are not that easily available. Um, so it's when I say it's full, it's full. Like, it's a lot of people out here that's just been abandoned and tossed away, and it's not enough services around to help these people. And that's why I'm pushing for prevention care. I wish that there was more things to prevent anything like this from happening. But I
Well,
agree with like there's kinship care. Like if you have that one relative or the godparents, there's ways of making that work, and the government will help pay for that. But they gotta be depends again on the state and also the state and the county.
Okay.
Now, I
So
just want
that
to add this one piece of thing, right? Like, okay, let's take off what I just said earlier. You're trying to tell me you don't even got a friend that has a house, a home that could like.
now, mind you, I wish there was also a law, right? When like lease landlords, right? You cannot because somebody's in need, you want to go ahead and increase the rent, and you want to go ahead and kick them out because they do have that right. Depends on the county and depends on the state, right? There is something where we gotta like come together on this stuff. Like for her, she couldn't get a room because there was too many people. Before we used to have this place in San Francisco, um, where it was a room and there'd be a family, sometimes family of like 4 to 11. But at least it was off the street. They got their bathrooms, but they off the street and they can go ahead and do what they need to do. But it wasn't long term. Um, but we it's like all these laws and stuff like that. People not able to do what they need to do to survive.
But I guess the issue where people would have is just like, okay, say like what I was saying earlier. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
man, you're struggling with one kid
Yeah.
and you keep going down this path. So if you want everybody to take care of you, is there a point where like, say government gets to interject in your life and be like, hey, you know what? You need to cut this off or something. So that's the flip side. It's like if we're saying,
Or we
huh?
did that before. We did do that before. I think they stopped it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's because if we're talking about prevention, that's what I'm saying. It's like, man, you got to make better selections with people, both men and women, and then also, man, you gotta, like I said, man, after you have one kid and you feeling that pain, you struggling, man. Like if that ain't a prime indicator, it's just like, man, damn, like they
SJ,
keep doing it.
it's like everybody's a Catholic when it comes down to making all these kids, but nobody, like you said, is selecting the proper husbands when they have these children.
Well, his wives too, man, dude. Because I
I
mean, the
mean,
flip side
to
is
be
like,
honest, looking at both these two characters, I think this was the perfect match. Just a fucked up situation.
yeah, no, definitely a lot of, and that's the sad thing. It's like a lot of times people are, what they say, equally yoked. So even if it's bad, I mean, that's a match. But still, man, it's just like, damn, like, would y'all stop, man?
The
It
sad,
ain't even a hard assessment to make. That's what I'm saying. This is,
the sad part about this now, like those two kids, they're now staying with relatives, right? I don't think she will ever get custody of those two kids ever. Also on him, like he was a bum by saying like, "Oh, he has family and she could have gone to him." Like, yo, this is your family. These are your kids. So why are you passing the buck to other relatives?
yeah,
Uh,
that's a good point. But all right, we'll go ahead and close this one out. Yeah. Now it's just these stories, man. They definitely irritate me, man. Because, like I said, man, I had one kid. Me and my wife was doing good, but it was like the time element. So it's like if you're a parent, man, you got to gauge all this stuff. It's just not just the resource part, but it's just like, hey, man, am I kind of stretched in? We're working where I can't make it to enough vents and stuff. And it's like people just don't care. They'll spit them out and then look who they could dump the kids on and stuff. So yeah,
the
I
sad
like
part
talking about.
like, she said they had everything. They have food. They have video games. They had everything, but not a place to stay. And I'm like, yo, like, at one point, somebody mentioned something like this guy named Logic. He said that, in the country, the kids will be an asset, but in the city, the kids are a burden. Because in the country, you put them to work, and everybody has a job to do. But in the city, you constantly give, and then your resources are limited, and it's scarce. And I was like, yo, I never, I was like, oh my God, this is what M3 was talking about. Taking on, being a stepdaddy to a woman with 10 kids and putting to work. So that's what M3 got that from. And we got like, oh God, okay, now I see what M3 was saying. Like, this makes sense. And he talked about, like, if you were a man that had land, right, in the country, you would want a single mom because she has kids and they can be helpful around the farm and get more children and live a
Man, y'all
life.
full of shit. What happened if you have a bad crop that year, a drought, and you gotta feed everybody? See, that's the
Man.
Man.
You got rabbits.
Nah.
No, because rabbits, you got like a full, Wally, no. My father's from the Dominican Republic and Haiti. That little, he's country. Rabbits only take them like 3 weeks. They're a full-grown rabbit. You got meals. They pop them out. You farm them. And the
See,
only
but that's where you playing with nature. What happened if something happened with the rabbits? You see what I'm saying, man? This the layers you just.
Then you got the chickens, you got the buffaloes, you got the cows. Like,
look, you better just have a reasonable sized family and stop playing.
You got quails, you got eggs. Look, I'll say this about the South: don't ask what it is. If you have to guess, pour ketchup on it and eat.
Well, I prefer like the hot sauce or the chipotle dressing to it. But on the record, right? I didn't get that from Logic. I got that from me. He must have stole my idea because
shout out to M3, stun on them from M3. M3 says he was the innovator of that fuckery.
I've already been saying, for the past live streams, he stole my stuff, man.
Shout out to M3 innovating.
M3 was on it. He's the forefather of it. I'm like, when he said it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Exactly. That's why I have a different level of respect for single moms, right? Well, certain single moms that has multiple kids that are hardworking. Now, if you're a single mom and you're breeding a bunch of lazy ass kids or whatever, hell to the no, I will not want you. You know what I mean? But a hardworking single mom with hardworking children, right? From ages, let's just say, to be fair, right? From ages 21 and up. You know what I mean? Because you can't, because YouTube stuff. You gotta be careful what you say, right? Like you say.
I said, all my life I work. All my life.
Right. You get the ones that's ready to work and to help build that farmland. Well, I said house, but hell, I mean, since you mentioned a farm, I'm like, it's very lucrative.
Yeah, all my friends were watching Sesame Street. I was out in that field at 4 a.m.
Damn that. But all right, we'll go ahead, man. We're gonna jump into the next topic. Right. But this was a good one. I definitely wanted to cover it. I see a lot of people touching this one, so everybody was cooking on this one.
Hey,
except for Stan. No, I'm joking.
No, a quick favor, like, man, when you do your single stuff, your single podcast, can you cover this? Because I think this is like one of those things where you talk about heavily about like, yo, when you look at the generations, man, this like is going to be a cursed generation because you look at the grandmother. The grandmother also was homeless. This is the first time you ever think about like the grandmother's homeless with her own kids. And also you gotta look at the daughter, and then you're gonna look at the kids like, yo, like, is this gonna be an ongoing thing where you're gonna have generations of homeless family members?
Yeah,
and why
man,
people don't want to build together. That's what I'm just saying.
No, definitely. Because I was thinking about that, and I hate that whole generational thing. Because I just feel, man, when you're a parent, man, something should just click where it's like, I gotta do something different. I don't give a damn what everybody else did in my family. They're fuck ups. So I gotta do something, man. And for that not to happen, and like you said, you see that pattern. It's just like it's just wild to me that like people could go down that path, like you said. But yeah, no, I'll definitely touch upon that.
Because she didn't even have a father to go to, right? Because if those kids had a grandfather, it would have been different, right? It would have been very different.
Well,
And
they could have
then
been like Homeboy, where he was like, "Hey, like they hit me up. I was at the gym. I was running miles and shit." So they could have been like them too, man. Because like we were saying, like a lot of times people like attracts like. So that's the reality sometimes. And people just, baby making's a game to people, I guess.
Right. Sad.
Yeah.